All right, now welcome to Bikers in a Circle, man, on the internet highways. And I'm Good Time Charlie, your host. We're going to check out Mr. Paul Cox, 2008 at the Buffalo Chip with the S&S bike.
This Buffalo Chip sitting on the bike.
That's pretty damn cool.
Everybody say, yeah! Woo! I don't know what I was talking about. What's your name again?
Just watch the pipes. Watch the pipes.
Oh, the pipes, huh? Oh, that was messed up, you. Hey, Paul, you just did a big thing with S&S, right?
Yeah, about a month ago they had their 50th anniversary celebration out in Wisconsin. And I was one of the builders that was asked to be involved in that, and this bike I did for S&S. And brought it out here and had it in a couple other spots this week. But just finally getting some time on the road with it, do some jetting and tuning, you know, with the two front heads and dual carbs and all that. So it's a lot of fun.
I noticed the pan's really sticking out there, huh?
The pans?
The boxes, yeah. Well, after 4 Jägermeisters in this Buffalo Chip, I don't know.
Yeah, they're machined rocker boxes, and I got two front cylinder heads, and you know, moved the exhaust manifold on one and made intake manifolds on both of them, and it's just kind of, you know, experiment and engineering, and had a lot of fun with making the thing. Of course, made all the tin and made the front end. Once it gets some plating on it, it'll be done.
You folks out there that's been hiding under a rock, homeboy's a New York boy. And, you know, used to be with Indian Larry. Let's give a little sum up there. Come on. Yeah, I'm sure y'all done seen them. If you're under the rock, you need to get back out of that. But Paul is all-around artist, man. I mean, a good thing he don't play the guitar. I'd be out of a job because he does leather work. We did an interview on my other show, and we were talking some stuff. And I mean, he can do some all paint. He's just all-around talented guy. And but I'll pick.
No, thanks very much. I kind of do, you know, a little bit of everything. I've always been inspired by all kind of aspects of creativity, you know, different forms of sculpture, different forms of art, and you know, I just kind of, you know, I usually say I'm kind of not a master of one, but just sort of, you know, just know a little bit about a lot, you know. So that sort of adds up to, I think, what helps kind of being a chopper builder.
You know, before I even knew you guys, and I started getting it close and checking out some of the stuff, and I really wanted to write a song about Indian Larry, and so I started coming up with some stuff in my head, and I said it all started at a motorcycle shop, you know, on a street, and then I said Keno, Paul, and Bobby, and, you know, and some stuff like that, and you know, and man, I tried to put some music to it that you could see the buffalo and the Indian and you guys working in the shop and all. And when you told me you really played a song a lot at the shop, man, you almost had me crying.
We put that CD on all the time. We really appreciated that, and it's such an honor for other artists to appreciate what you do, and you know, somebody like you to spend the time to write down something like that. I mean, we're just guys that make stuff and been lucky enough to, you know, be able to make a living at it. And you know, it is a fortunate thing to be able to, you know, this be your job and see you folks and get back and do the work that we do, and then be able to go out on the road with it. It's a real fortunate thing. We appreciated that song very much.
You're like me, musicians. You know, we're always on the road. So, you know, even though you ain't playing the guitar, I mean, hey, folks, Paul's on the road a lot. I mean, tell him about that.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to kind of back off a little bit and spend some time with my family. You know, you don't want to forget. You don't want to forget family, and it's just this past year, you know, I've got a 2.5-year-old little girl, and I was still running around so crazy and trying to take them when I could. And I got this tattoo on my neck that says "Family First," and it reads backwards in the mirror. So if I'm on the road, you know, it's like first thing in the morning, the first thing I see is family first, and you just can never forget that, no matter what you're doing.
Well, you know, like the same thing in the music thing. When I was younger, you know, when I got my nickname Good Time Charlie, I was running amok, and my family wasn't happening because of my career. And now that I'm older and I'm wiser, and I figured out the family that's why everything's working for me now. I figured out how to make a 50-50. You know, spread, and some of it is staying home and seeing them football games and the cheerleading.
Yeah, I mean, she's, you know, my daughter, she's just getting old enough that she can come into my shop and she kind of figures out what little parts are and little things are, and it's just amazing. Yeah, she's really special. And my wife, is just an incredible woman, just 110%, and she sends me pictures, you know, when I'm away every day. I get a little surprise snapshot of my daughter, which is very cool.
I really respect about you, man. You know, you're a family guy, and you really, you know, you're passionate for freedom.
That's what's real.
Passionate, your work, everything I've ever seen that I got to see anyway, is just, you can tell you've done a lot of time into it, you know?
But I kind of tend to get lost in my work a little bit, you know, when you get into the details, and it's really your departure sort of where you carry yourself away. That's why, you know, it's not like I go around on vacations or really, you know, party a whole lot, you know, or really anything so out of the ordinary. Things just get lost in my work. That's where I found my enjoyment, you know, besides family and stuff.
Let me ask you the $1 million question. How did you first meet Indy and Larry? How did that come about? Did you just go to his shop, knock on the door?
Well, he wasn't in the shop at the time, but it's probably around 1989, 1990, and I had moved to New York City and, you know, was doing the custom bike thing and running around on my own bikes, Harleys and Triumphs, and had a Yamaha XS 650, you know, that a lot of people had messed with back in the day. And I was just hearing about Larry and knew some of his following and ran into him once or twice. You know, he liked what I was doing, and of course I dug what he was doing. But it was funny. There was a guy this friend of mine, Hugh, they had a British bike shop in New York City down on 6th Street, and I told him, you know, I was kind of seeing this guy Indian Larry and hanging out with him a little bit. He said, "Oh man, he's a heavy character. He'd pull a shotgun on you just as quick as saying hello, you know." And it's like he had such a reputation. And that was the thing about him. I mean, he was an intense cat, you know, one way or the other. There was no middle ground. You know, people ask me a lot about, you know, the good times or the bad times, but there was just nothing in between, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I noticed when that episode where Billy's bike wouldn't start, you know, the rules are he could have won right there, and he said, "No way, man, let's get your bike running." That's the brotherhood, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was all about the ride. It was all about brotherhood, like you said, absolutely. And it was never a question. I mean, what a scumbag move to win on a technicality. You know, fuck that. It's just about the ride and helping your friend. And ended up just an amazing adventure all through, you know, Nebraska. You know, we rode from the East Coast over to here. That was a few years ago, and just had a great time.
The Indy and Larry legacy, and the Paul Cox legacy now. Yeah, let me tell you, Daddy, go to your website, PaulCoxIndustries.com. One more time, PaulCoxIndustries.com. PaulCoxIndustries.com. Thank you for coming, brother. Hey, check out his stuff, man. Hey, let me tell you. All right. Yeah. This Buffalo too. Let's give it up for Paul, y'all.
All right, now God bless America and God bless American motorcyclism. And for more cool stuff like that, come on over to the unique site, Bikers Inner Circle Internet Show, www.bikersinnercircle.com, and we got a lot more for you.